Shalom, shalom, and welcome to the Spirit Gym channel again with brother T L Juvet. Please, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, do make sure that you subscribe to the channel, and don't also forget to turn on that notification bell in order to be the first person to know when we release new videos. That said, something just sparked my mind a couple of days past, and though it is something which is not strange to this particular community, I believe that it's very important that we begin to share things like these, because the Christian community as a whole definitely has a lot of people in it who do not understand these things, and that's about inflation. Now, when I was much more younger, there was a loaf of bread that we used to buy, and that cost about 50 francs, which at the time was about 1 cent. And fast forward to today, I went to the shop to get bread, okay, for breakfast. I realized something, and that's what just triggered me into this. I realized that the loaf of bread that we have today, okay, no longer sells for the same amount it used to sell for. In fact, it sells for at least 150 francs, okay? In if we want to convert that to the dollar, because the dollar has really moved up against our currency, we should be talking about something like, say, 2 cents or so. That alone tells you that the price has actually moved up more than 100%. Looking at it just in terms of the CFA, it's moved up by 3 times its value. Okay, now it doesn't end there. It doesn't end there. We are being told that inflation in this country is something like 4%. But if you try to aggregate the 4% over that period of time, then we shouldn't be having the kind of prices that we are having. And it's not just about the price alone, because when we go now into in terms of quality and quantity, it has shrunk by, say, like 50%. So technically, we're talking about something like a 6x increase in prices over that period of time, and that is really crazy. So 600% increase in prices. We know that inflation, when we account for inflation, prices have to definitely go up, okay? But hear me out. Normally, for everything to be on an equal basis, okay, we are supposed to have salary increases in terms of the inflation that is coming in. We're supposed to have bank interest rates on our savings, which that one is very important. We are supposed to have bank interest rates on our savings to help cover up that increase that inflation is causing. But that's not the case. That is really not the case, because when you look at the percentage that the banks pay per year, for example, we have things like as little as less than 2%, less than 1% on your savings per year, which is being paid usually the pay per semester. And amazingly, when you get money from the bank, they bill you on the interest and the principal. They bill you that amount per month. Their charges, they bill you per month. So you see that logically it's eating up whatever interest that is being given to you. In fact, I remember one time when they came a certain bank came advertising a couple of their products to us when we were yet in school, and I tried to do a little bit of calculation, because I went to I did business, okay, business finance. So I tried to run some calculations to see how beneficial that particular account was to a lot of my friends who were just running to open an account with them. And I realized that as a student, that account means that as a student, you're supposed to save at least 300, and it was about 350,000, okay, without touching it. If you wanted to make a markup, what I mean is you are supposed to save 350,000 in order to have the interest that is being paid to you on that account to cancel out the charges that the monthly charges that are accustomed to that particular account. And at the time, that amount was really crazy, okay, for a student of our standard to have such an amount of money lying in an account doing absolutely nothing. was almost an impossibility. So though they made it sound like it was the deal of the year, and you were going to have a bank account, because come on, to us at the time, it was really a strange thing having a bank account, having a bank card, and all of that. I believe that's why we're talking about inclusion, all inclusion in the banking sector for particularly for African countries and certain communities in those African countries. Now, back to what I was saying. You see that inflation is really eating up the value of your savings, is eating up the value of whatever disposable income that you can have in order to maybe invest in one or two things. Which brings me to the point that it is very important, in as much as we encourage, or say I will encourage someone to have a bank account and have some money lying there for unforeseen circumstances, to cover up, say, 3 to 6 months of your expenses. Listen, if all you do is to keep money in an account, okay, if all you do is to pile money in an account, which is what a lot of middle income earners and low income earners do, because the thing, it somehow makes them feel more secured or rich. It is the worst thing you can do. Okay, when I talk with a lot of people that do really have the means, finance, okay, I realize that a lot of them don't do that. The rich don't do that. Okay, what they do is that they try to, not that they try, they know how it works. Okay, so I'm not just saying that you get your money and go and do the same thing. No, you need to understand how it works. If not, you can really lose money that you try to invest. What they do is that they get their money into certain assets. Okay, for example, there are people who in the Western world, there are people who are going to go out there to buy things like precious metals like gold, silver, and so on and so forth. In a society like us, I think things like landed property is one of the most feasible. Unfortunately, it's also really expensive, so you really have to gather a lot of money before you can get into that. But recently, there are other things which are coming up, which makes the Western world open to people from our society to invest in things like cryptocurrencies. You also have stocks, okay, stocks which are through the use of blockchain technology, it becomes possible for you to buy and hold stocks, as well as precious metals like the same gold and silver and so on and so forth. Now, why do you want to do this? Because when you put money into these things, the rate at which they appreciate goes beyond inflation. Okay, so the interest or whatever gains and profits or increase in value that you're going to be having in these assets will write off the effect that inflation has on your savings, on your salary, on your disposable income, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so it's very important that you get to start doing that research. Try to understand how best you can protect yourself, because if you don't protect yourself, trust me, putting 10 million in a bank, leaving it there for years after years after years, yes, you're going to come back and you see the same 10 million. But what is going to be the power of that 10 million, what it can purchase in the market, is going to be significantly lower, particularly if it's there. In fact, the longer the period of time that it's in that account being dormant, the more value that is going to lose over time. And trust me, these guys, what they do is they use your money, they give out those loans. You have 15% out there. Microfinances are hitting people with over 25, 30% interest on their loans. Then when they get these amounts, they cut out maybe just a 2% per year, and they give it out. What do they stay with? 13%, 20%. I've gotten information of people who give out 50%. Okay, I don't know how the people who take those loans end up sorting that out, but I believe that is neck breaking, and maybe the government really has to step in and do something. But until then, you must know this: don't just keep money in the bank, lying there in the bank, because it's going to be detrimental to you. Do everything possible. Find things in which you can invest some disposable income into, or if you have a lot of savings, you want to really put part into other assets. Now, you must also understand that, like I've been saying for quite a while now, as well as many experts are saying, as well as many prophets are saying, there is a global financial crisis which is coming, and I believe that I don't know the timing of it, but I know that when this thing comes, it's going to hit fiat currency hard, and there's going to be much more erosion in the value of fiat currency, and that's something that you really don't want to get caught up in. But for those that have that possibility, keep money on the sideline for unforeseen circumstances. That's going to be it. God bless you, and bye bye.